There were 10 gates in Jerusalem. We will handle the gates one by one, and I'll show you their prophetic picture, typology of that gate, what that gate is standing for. So Nehemiah were trying to restore about 10 gates. Gate number 1 is the sheep gate. Nehemiah the chapter 3 verses 1. The Bible said, then Eliashib the high priest rose up with his brethren the priests, and they built the sheep gate. They sanctified it and set up the doors of it, even unto the tower of Mia. They sanctified it unto the tower of Hananel. They built the sheep gate and they sanctified it. The high priest, the brothers, and that was the fellow priest, they initiated the work of building the gates, because they knew that when the gates are broken, the enemy can easily come in. So the only way to solve this problem is to build the wall of Jerusalem and restore the gates. And then the first gate they targeted and they started with was the sheep gate. Why not the dog gate? Why not a lion gate? Why not a goat gate, but a sheep gate? Because sheep in the Bible has considered to be meek. Whenever you see the word sheep, they are used for sacrifice. They are the kind of animals used for sacrifice. The sheep was the acceptable animal for sacrifice due to its meek nature. It was the perfect animal for sacrifice, and people were using the sheep for sacrifice. The sheep is a self-giving animal. It is friendly. Its nature is friendly. The sheep listen to the shepherd. The sheep can be led, and the sheep can give itself to be sacrificed for a good cause. So they started with the sheep gate, which signifies sacrifice. That if you want to build gates in your life, you must start with the sheep gate. And the sheep gate speak about sacrifice. And when we talk about sacrifice, we are not talking about just financial sacrifice, and we are not talking about the type of sacrifices you know. When we say sacrifice, we are talking about something that you will do that will make the heavens open over your life. Romans 12:1. The Bible said, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. I beseech you therefore, brethren, that ye present your body as a living sacrifice. So when the Bible talks about sacrifice, the Bible is talking about you yourself. So the first and the best sacrifice you can ever give to God is yourself. It's not your money. God needs you first before we even talk about your money. A man who cannot give himself to God cannot give his money to God. A man who cannot give himself to God cannot give his time to God. A man who cannot give himself to God cannot give anything material to God. If you see a man committing his material things, his time and everything to God, it is a man who has sacrificed himself. It's a man who has given himself as a living sacrifice to God. So the first gate you must build in your life is the gate of sacrifice. Until you present yourself as a living sacrifice, there will not be happiness in your life. Paul said, I beseech ye, brethren, that you present your body as a living sacrifice. I am talking to you. I encourage you. I advise you. I admonish you that you present your body as a living sacrifice. For that is a worthy cause. That's the best thing you can ever do. Presenting your body as a living sacrifice. So in building the gates of Zion, the first gate of Zion you must build is the gate of sacrifice. A man that is not dead cannot be used by God. A man that has not sacrificed himself cannot be used by God. A man that has not presented himself as a living sacrifice cannot be used by God. That man cannot be a gatekeeper. Those who are gatekeepers are men who have presented themselves as a living sacrifice. There are some dimensions of God you cannot access until you give your everything to God, until you give yourself to God, because this is the best sacrifice you can ever give to God. There are dimensions you will never access until you present yourself to God. You can't access those dimensions. It's not possible. God is saying present yourself, bring yourself as a living sacrifice. God is calling you every day, but there are people that will still not give themselves because people are so stubborn. And listen to me, if you want a supernatural happiness in your life, you must present yourself as a living sacrifice. You must sacrifice yourself until you put God first and everything seconds. There are some things in your life you can never get. There are some things in the realms of the spirit you will never access. So the Bible said, I beseech you. Paul have done this. And whenever you see Paul telling people that I beseech you, which means he has done that and he has seen results. That is why he is now encouraging and beseeching them that you present yourself as a living sacrifice. Yourself, not your money, yourself. If you give yourself, your money will mean nothing to you. If you give yourself, your time will mean nothing to you. If you give yourself, everything material will mean nothing to you. Until you give yourself, whatever around you, you will value it more than God. There are people that value their time more than God. That even when they come to church, they are worried about the time they will spend in church. Meanwhile, they spend hours watching movies. They spend hours going to jam. Saturday night, you see them at the beer club. After all night, I was going home and I saw people at us at 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. They were at the beer bar, sitting down, chatting and drinking. I was surprised. People have given themselves as a living sacrifice to alcohol. They have sacrificed themselves to the devil. But you, sacrificing yourself to God is a problem. And you are there praying. Listen, you can fast and pray and not sacrifice yourself, and you are still alive. You have not yet sacrificed yourself. Meanwhile, you are fasting and praying. Some people used to ask the reason why they are fasting and praying. Maybe you are fasting and praying to use God. Maybe that is the reason. You want to use God. Maybe you have a problem and you need that problem to be solved immediately. Maybe that is the reason. What is your reason for fasting and praying? John 5:2 said, now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called the Hebrew tongue Bethesda. The Bethesda having 5 porches. How many of you have heard of the pool of Bethesda? The pool of Bethesda was the pool that the angel normally steer every year. There was a particular season that the angel of the Lord will come and steer that pool. The angel always come and steer that pool every season. And whenever the angel steer that pool and you are the first person to enter, you get your healing and you get the deliverance. That is where Jesus made the cripple that was sitting there for 38 good years, no help and no deliverance. People were sitting by that pool, and then the Bible said the pool, where the pool was where the gate of the sheep gate was. So where the sacrifice were happening was what attract angelic presence in that area. That there is a pool, that because of those sacrifices, angels will come down and steer the water. That the first person to step into the water will get healing. There were pools in Jerusalem and there were pools around. But why was that pool so important that somebody can sit around that pool for 38 good years? You should know that the person wasn't sitting there for fun. The person know that there is deliverance in this pool. There is an encounter in this pool. There is angelic beings in this pool. There is something mysterious about this pool that men have not yet discovered. But listen, it was traceable to the sheep gate. It was traceable to the sacrifice that normally happened there. So the sacrifices that usually happen there attracted angelic presence. That whether there is a sacrifice or not, the angel come down and steer the water. And when you are the first person to enter those waters, you get your healing. So you now understand the importance of sacrifice. So the first gate of Zion you must build in your life is the gate of sacrifice. It's the gate of sacrifice. You must sacrifice yourself. You must kill yourself. Before God can use you, you must kill yourself. I made a statement the last time that living beings are not used by a living God. One of you must die. It's either you are dead or your God is dead. Until one of you die, both of you cannot live in one body and still command the same resource. One of you must die. You have to die for God to live in you. If you want to rebuild the walls in your life and then the gates in your life, then you must learn how to sacrifice. And that sacrifice must start from you before we even come to a material thing. If you cannot sacrifice yourself, material things, forget it. It is sacrificing yourself that will make material things nothing to you. Do you think that if you're alive and if you're living and you refuse to die, material things will make it? Listen, material things will be like God to you. Do you know why? Whenever you are asking people in church to give, it is like blood donation. They are not yet dead. They haven't sacrificed themselves to God. A man that has sacrificed himself to God can give everything to God. To rebuild the gates of Zion in your life, you must sacrifice yourself. You must slaughter yourself. You present your body as a living sacrifice. There are things people will be doing and you will not do just because of sacrifice. It's not because you can't do it, but just because you want to sacrifice your body. The first sacrifice God is looking for is not your money. Your money means nothing if you cannot sacrifice your body. Your material thing means nothing if you can't sacrifice your body. That's why these people are jokers. And me, I can't give myself to God, but I can give my money. You and your money, who are you? And me, I'm busy. I'm a politician. I'm busy. But we can help God with our money. People like, you small boy, you are not busy in front of God. God was there. They just born you now. And now you are busy. Serve the Lord. No matter who you are, serve the Lord. Listen, the day you are too busy for God to use you, it is the day that you know that you are a dead man in heaven. You can never be too busy for God. I made a statement today. There's a drunkard in my village who said that if God make you poor and you are angry, he kill you and no one can ask him. Now, it may look funny, but when you look at it, it's true. If God say, okay, you are in Ghana and you are angry and he kill you, who now you don't even know the location of God. Do you know where God is? The Bible says he's everywhere at the same time. You can't catch him. You can't send him to court. Never be busy for God. When we say sacrifice, we are talking about something that will cost you. So the first wall and the first gate to rebuild in Zion is the gate of sacrifice.